As this capacity crowd settles in their seats, it's unique and ironic that both teams have the same road record, but the difference has come at home. That's the difference in the Atlantic Division right now. As we head you over to Mike Walshewski to meet the lineups for tonight's game.
Here are the starting lineups. First for Philadelphia. At the guards, number 12, Johnny Dawkins. And number 33, Hersey Hawkins. At the forwards, number 34, Captain Charles Barkley. And number 44, Rick Mahorn. At center, number 42, Mike Jaminski. The trainer is Tony Harris. The assistant coaches Fred Carter and Buzz Brayman. And the head coach, Jim Lynam. And now, here they are, New York's biggest thrill, the New York Knickerbockers. At the guards, number 1, Maurice Cheeks. And number 21, Gerald Wilkins. At the forwards, number 7, Kenny Walker. And number 55, Kiki Vandeweghe. At center, number 33, co-captain Patrick Ewing. The assistant trainer is Tim Walsh. The trainer is Mike Saunders. The assistant coach is Ernie Grunfeld.
You see Johnny Newman looking like one of the assistant coaches. Natalie attired in a blue suit. A fractured right thumb will prevent him from seeing action in tonight's game, but he could be back in just a matter of days for the Knicks. As for Stu Jackson and the front line of the Knickerbockers, that's a major problem when you go up against the Philadelphia 76ers. John spoke to him a little while ago and asked him how he was going to solve the problem.
Well, we're going to start out with Kenny Walker and Charles Barkley, Kiki Vandeweghe playing Jaminski, and Patrick playing Mahorn. They are a real matchup problem, not only for us, but a lot of teams in the league, and they force you into some tough decisions. One of the easy ones is, however, we'll try to double-team Barkley every time he catches it in the low post.
Stu Jackson faces a Sixer team that won 12 games in a row to get them back in the Atlantic Division race and has now won 8 games in a row to slide in front of the Knicks. As for the matchups, here's what you'll see. Mike Jaminski playing good basketball. Double-doubles his specialty this season against Kiki, Barkley and Walker, Mahorn and Ewing, Dawkins and Cheeks.
Now, the key factor, I think, is Cheeks is a starter now against his old team. He should be able to get into it right away. The Sixers should see the best of Cheeks early.
Wilkins whirls off the glass and starts this off in the Knicks' favor. Hawkins quickly back, fires it up. Ewing tips it to himself. Fast pace at the start.
See, the Knicks know what they're facing in the Sixers, but the Sixers are not sure the effect Kiki Vandeweghe will have, or how much of effect Maurice Cheeks will have.
Pressure by the Knicks, especially Cheeks there. Hawkins finds Jaminski. Sixers are 0 for 2. Knicks are 2 for 2. Dawkins guarding Cheeks. Ewing picked up by Mahorn. He bulls his way to the hoop.
Well, Mahorn is the big difference in this team in many ways because of interior defense. There certainly was none there.
On March 1st, the Knicks lost by 5 here at the Garden, and the Sixers had their way for most of that. Then in Philadelphia, they were embarrassed by 17. Here now, game 5 of the season series, of which the Knicks have won only 1. Mahorn.
You mentioned 17 now, a familiar number to people watching the Sixers lately. Their 8-game winning streak has 17-point differential between they and their opponents over that 8-game period. They are red hot coming in tonight.
The Sixers this season have shot better than 50% 36 times.
Gerald Wilkins trying to do too much with the ball.
Transition, Vandeweghe back. Can't stop Dawkins. Well, the Knicks get out to a 6-0 lead. Sixers creep back 6-4.
Johnny Dawkins at 6'2" had no problem dealing with the much taller Kiki Vandeweghe.
Vandeweghe open. He's 1 for 1. Coming off the 10 for 12 game in which he had 21 points against Washington. Hersey Hawkins short. No one there for the Knicks. Barkley on Walker. Kenny Walker loves to rise to the defensive occasion. They clear it out for Barkley. And an illegal defense is called as Vandeweghe came over to help out.
Illegal defense warning charge to the Knickerbockers. A second infraction.
That is the first warning against the Knicks. Just 2.5 minutes into the game. Dawkins working on Cheeks. Almost picked off by Gerald Wilkins. Two-pointer for Johnny Dawkins.
Dawkins shooting the ball well this year, averaging 49% from the field.
Cheeks tightly checked by Dawkins. Ewing pulls his way to the hoop again. That's 2 straight times that Ewing's taken the ball down low on Mahorn and beat him to the hole. Barkley. Knicks lead at 10-6.
Cheeks dictating the tempo now, waiting for Ewing to get set.
Ewing fouled and it counts. It feels like an NBA game should in April.
Yes, there's intensity here. Ewing, after the patience of Cheeks setting the play up with the little head fake, getting everybody off balance. No problem for him.
Patrick Ewing perfect, 4 for 4 from the floor. Last 4 games he's been averaging, as he misses the free throw, 16 rebounds a game. And in light of the absence of Charles Oakley, that is filling a need for his team.
Yes, he's been a double-figure rebounder since Oakley left 8 games ago.
Barkley backs in on Walker and travels.
Yes, he took the big hop before he went into that final move.
Jimmy Lynam, who Barkley evidently, according to a profile I read recently, refers to as Little Knucklehead.
That only comes with winning streaks, Al, those little affectionate terms.
Weird looking pass, Vandeweghe for Ewing for Gerald Wilkins.
Second time Gerald dribbled into problems.
Hersey Hawkins for Barkley. No doubt about it, Barkley's got his first bucket of the game. 12-8, Knicks by 4. 7:50 to go, opening quarter at the Garden. Ewing now being guarded by Jaminski. And he goes over the top of him too. Ewing 5 for 5. Mahorn coast to coast. Oh, they love that here.
Well, Ewing didn't allow it to happen. Mahorn had a lot of steam up. Looked like he was going to have this stuff after he got inside the foul line, but Ewing came out and met him.
And a big bump underneath. Ewing hits the floor. He's up and okay. He goes right at Barkley.
How can the officials let it go this far? How can they do that? You saw that coming.
Ewing is absolutely crazy. And look who's the peacemaker, Rick Mahorn.
Yeah, he ripped Ewing's shirt off almost 2 seconds ago. He's got a way of expressing peace that's most unusual.
And now more words. Earl Strom has thrown somebody out. Oakley.
It started with Barkley going over and clearly knocking Ewing down, which went totally without response by the officials. And Ewing couldn't take it. Went over and confronted Barkley. Still nothing from the officials.
It looked as though Patrick Ewing's contact lens has popped out. Well, it's the second night in a row of physical aggression at the Garden. Only Al Armour won't be blamed for this one.
And that was long after the initial foray between Barkley and Ewing. Now Mahorn, the peacemaker, as you say, Al. I don't think that's too peaceful. Although
I think he had good intentions in that instance.
Well,
I really do.
I think you're probably right. Yeah, you're right.
Well, you know, we talked about the comedic overtones of watching these guys play, but this is when comedy isn't funny. They play a rough physical game. Ewing was knocked to the floor and immediately responded. I thought he was rushing to get back into position. Charles Oakley has been ejected. Jimmy Lynam was up and screaming. Well, that's obviously an ejection that is surprising, considering Oakley's already got a cast on his hand. And Ewing. Ewing. Well, how does he play when he's mad? We're about to see.
For this to happen on the home court, of course, benefits the Knicks.
Ewing guarding Mahorn. Blocks Mahorn in a foul. The emotional level at the Garden is hot. The Knicks are perfect from the floor, and Mo Cheeks has 6 assists. Welcome back to the Garden, where the Knicks are 9 for 9 from the floor, and Mo Cheeks has 6 assists. They leave 18-8. But that is not what the fans here are buzzing about. They are buzzing about an altercation that took place moments ago.
Ewing on a pick that certainly could be called a moving pick. As we look at Vanderway cut across the middle.
It was just as Barkley went across.
Disposed of Ewing, drove him to the floor after that pick. And then Ewing responded, went over to express himself to Barkley, and found himself on his backside as Barkley knocked him down. And of course Ewing then couldn't take it any longer and went after him. And Mahorn came over to stop Ewing. And that's the end of that. In the meantime, Charles Oakley, wearing a suit, got very verbal and got ejected. And that was really the outcome of all of that.
Jimmy Lynam is really going at it with 34-year veteran Earl Strom in his last NBA season. And it was really strange how I spoke to Earl Strom before this game. Usually don't do that. And I said, do you approach a game differently when you know the characters involved? And he said, no. I don't ever prejudge a game. And I said, how can you not do that when you know some of the combatants have a history that they have? And he said, I just don't. I judge every game on an individual basis.
Well, what I don't understand is how the officials didn't jump in. There were 3 of them out there, and you would think one of them would have seen the sparks flying before it happened.
18-10 on the free throws. Wilkins for Vanderway. First Knick miss from the floor. Ewing, the offensive rebound. He throws it away. Cheeks with Barkley. And Earl Strom says that Barkley touched the ball.
Cheeks is holding it up.
Now, wait a minute.
Oh, what a con job by Barkley. I assume one of the other officials disagreed with Strom's call. Well, it's not clear here. Barkley, ever the competitor, did not give up on it.
It's the right call, but that was not the initial call. Back live, another whistle on the outside, and this will be a technical foul against the Knicks for illegal defense. Second infraction in the game. So they are now over the illegal defense warning limit.
This is the man who has emerged along with Mahorn to make this team different and a lot better. He's also the second leading scorer for the team and the second leading scorer against the Knicks this year, averaging 21 points a game. Hersey Hawkins.
Barkley going at it with some fans. Dawkins for Barkley. You know, we talked about intimidation in the pregame show and how you use it to your advantage. As Dawkins hits from the outside, John, how about in the last game, Mahorn went right at Oakley. Maybe the Sixers considered him to be a key factor in that game. Here tonight with Oakley out, they consider Ewing to be a factor, and they want to do something to take his mind off the game as quickly as possible. Dawkins comes back, Knicks by 5.
I honestly don't think it's premeditated, Al. They're just out there banging.
Hawkins comes on Ewing. Outlet for Dawkins. Mahorn the follow. Jaminski's open. Ball movement by the Sixers, but it just doesn't work.
Thanks to Kenny Walker distracting everybody on defense.
Vandeweghe. The Knicks need it, and that time Kiki gave it to him.
Well, they're finding him. His teammates are looking for Vandeweghe and finding him in perfect time.
Vandeweghe 2 for 3. Ewing intimidated that shot by Hawkins. Outlet pass for Wilkins with some floor. Behind the back to Vandeweghe. Back and forth we go. Three-pointer is no good. Barkley the follow. Ewing tips it away. Walker. Hustle by Kenny Walker. Vandeweghe fakes on Mahorn. Jaminski quiets the crowd, which at that point was really rolling.
Can't help but note Charles Barkley's unselfishness giving the ball up.
Tremendous pace to this game from the opening tip. Knicks 22, Sixers 15. Illegal defense charged against Philadelphia.
They got Mahorn on that.
The 76ers. That's their first infraction.
First infraction against Philadelphia. Percy Hawkins is out.
Philadelphia, number 18,
Derek Smith into the game. Gerald Wilkins is picked up by him. Triple team on Ewing. Walker gets the ball inside and makes it fall.
A very difficult shot with Barkley in attendance trying to block it.
Mahorn with a sly look in his eyes. Three-pointer by Dawkins is off. Outlet Walker to Cheeks. Gerald Wilkins for three. He has not been making those at all. What a tip by Ewing.
He jumped once and he jumped twice. The second time it wasn't perfect timing-wise, but he was able to hang in there with a beautiful touch.
Ewing 7 for 7 from the floor. Jaminski answers. Jaminski's 2 for 6. He's hit his last two. Vandeweghe. And Mahorn with a powerful bound. Outlet for Smith. Derek Smith right over Ewing. Barkley follows, but a loose ball foul on Charles. A couple of Knicks went down that time, and a timeout on the floor. Oh, it almost makes you wish the Sixers and Knicks hooked up 82 times a year.
Remember, it makes good sense to drink responsibly. Know when to say when. A reminder from Anheuser-Busch.
John, we've seen Kenny Walker star in the last few sequences.
Kenny Walker is all over the boards, alert as can be, leading the Knicks fast break with those good pitch-out passes, and several baskets ago, Gerald Wilkins with a very slick behind-the-back pass to Vandeweghe for his first dunk in a while. Kiki feeling he hasn't been able to get up that high, but he did on that shot. And Walker with a superb effort, wow, which resulted in another opportunity at the basket for the Knicks. And Kenny Walker inside moments ago, protecting himself without the push-off. He didn't foul. Many times the offensive player pushes the defender away, but Walker did that perfectly.
Trent Tucker into the game for the Knicks. Kenny Walker has 5 rebounds as Kiki Vandeweghe sits. Maurice Cheeks to get things started. Derek Smith comes out. He's got Ron Anderson with him off the bench for Philadelphia, and a foul on Mo Cheeks. Ron Anderson, number 20 into the game for the Sixers. He has a similar effect on this team as Bobby Jones once had coming off the bench.
Well, he ruined the Knicks last year in several games, had big scoring games.
This is Derek Smith at the line.
Well, Derek Smith has come on strong. He has a second life now in the NBA. He's been bothered with leg injuries for such a long period of time. All of a sudden now in the 4 games against the Knicks, he's been a 14-point-a-game scorer against them this year.
Knicks are shooting 68%, Philadelphia 33, and Philadelphia has been sizzling in the shooting department lately. It is 26-18. Knicks in front. Cheeks guarded by Scott Brooks. A second-year anteater from Cal Irvine into the game. Tucker guarded by Smith. He lets fly. Tough shot for Trent.
Yes, he was falling away.
Barkley on the run. Beats everybody.
Cheeks has seen enough of Barkley to know what to do and what not to do. Barkley had a lot of room.
Ewing double teamed, looks inside, and Barkley is there. Charles is joined with some fans in the front row. Ewing, good. Barkley guarded by Walker. Fakes the lean in. Walker doesn't give him the baseline, and Ewing is there to cut off the final road to the hoop.
And how about how quickly Barkley gets back and almost recovers it? He is so fast. Tricky move by Charles. Ewing there to slap it away. Barkley right on the case again.
Barkley gets around Walker, and Ewing can't stop it.
See, he puts his body right in front of Ewing. Patrick instinctively knew it would be an automatic foul call, so he backed off.
Well, when you have a body like that, it pays to figure out how to use it.
You said it. No one does it better.
Cheeks. We'll go to the line for two. It's coming off the rather impressive win over the Bullets in Landover. And Mo Cheeks had 10 points and 8 assists in that game. In the last 4 games in which he has started, he's averaging 12.5 points, 6 assists, and shooting 54%.
Now, one of the interesting moves Stu Jackson has made is by playing Gerald Wilkins at the forward. The feeling was with Newman out because of that hand injury, he may go to Quinnett earlier or go to Eddie Lee Wilkins as another forward, which I'm sure he'll do later. But initially, it's Gerald Wilkins now at the small forward position.
30-22. Knicks by 8. Biggest lead was 10. Anderson. Wow. Way off, but Barkley is there.
No one in front of him. It's not winning basketball when you allow Charles Barkley to be positioned under the basket with absolutely no one in front of him.
Tempo is slowed here as we move inside the last minute of the first quarter. Tucker. He's 0 for 2 off the bench. Scott Brooks, lead pass Barkley. Gets around Cheeks, but is stopped by Walker. And he's the first one to reach his hand out to pull Kenny to his feet.
Classy move. Full momentum. Here he comes. 6'4" and a lot of weight. And that's just trying to stop him. I mean, there wasn't much contact. Kenny Walker interrupted the momentum of Barkley, and look at the price he paid.
Look at the sweat that is dripping off almost continuously from the face of Barkley, who drops the first. Maurice Cheeks is called for a second personal foul. Barkley in his last 3 games, 32 points a game, shooting 79% from the floor. That's something that you mentioned in the opening of our telecast
Remarkable.
tonight.
38 out of 48 from the field against Houston, Phoenix, and Denver.
And Barkley drills them both. Tonight, Barkley is 4 for 6. He's got 10 points. 35 to go in the opening period. Cheeks gets around the double team. Somebody's open. It's Walker for Ewing. Bang!
Well, that's the longest stuff you'll see in quite a while. Ewing covered quite a distance after he jumped in the air.
Patrick Ewing continues to be perfect from the floor. The only place he's missed is on the free throw line. Barkley around Walker. What a challenge he is for Kenny to keep up with. No basket. Kenny Walker is called on the foul. His first.
Barkley so eloquently stated the effect he has on the world several days ago by saying, "I am a problem causer." And that he is, no matter where he is on the court. We see him now handling the basketball. Kenny Walker's not slow, and Barkley just dribbled right by him, drawing that foul.
What do you think, John? A lot of fans have trouble figuring out whether they love him or hate him. I mean, you can enjoy watching him play, but
I don't think I really don't think people hate him.
Well, hate in the fan sense of the word. I mean, you know, people love to boo him here at the Garden.
Well,
because
I think that's because he's an opponent. I don't think it's from the stomach. Like Mahorn, for instance, last year with Detroit, the last couple of years, you'd really dislike him as an opponent because of a lot of the things he did. But I think Barkley, it's affectionate in a sense.
Knicks missed the final shot of the quarter. And the Sixers erasing what was once a 10-point Knick lead and coming back to within 4. It was a quarter in which Barkley and Ewing almost came to blows. Back in a moment.
Well, the Knicks cannot expect more out of number 33 than they've gotten in the first quarter. Patrick waiting for that ball to find its way to him. Kenny Walker finally gets that bounce pass in. Patrick soaring over Mike Gminski for one of his baskets in the first quarter. Actually, that was his only dunk among his 8 for 8 from the field. And as you can see, he is dominating his opponent right now, Mike Gminski. Most of the time, Gminski will be guarding him, but not all the time. But those other two centers. Ewing is also 4 for 4 on jump shots. He's also had a couple of layups and a couple of more. The dunk we saw in another running layup, as he has brought great versatility here to his offensive output in the first quarter. Thank you, Bruce Beck, pointing that out.
The Knicks, in addition to Ewing 16, have 4 from Cheeks, Wilkins, 6 from Vandeweghe, 2 from Walker. And ex-Knick Bob Thornton checks into the game. He was a little bit of a question mark. He's had a back strain, but he is out there for the Sixers, number 23. Derek Smith on the drive, the double pump, and a soft kiss off the glass.
Well, he just beat Gerald Wilkins, flat out ran by him.
Back in the first quarter, this game was marked by a rather vicious pushing incident between Charles Barkley and Patrick Ewing as Cheeks misses the jumper. Barkley threw Ewing to the floor. Ewing was right up in his face. They kind of slapped at each other a little bit. And the one who was ejected from the game was Charles Oakley in street clothes. Derek Smith fakes around. Eddie Lee Wilkins over Ewing, followed by Barkley. Eddie Lee into the game for the Knicks, and the first tie of the game at 32.
Knicks again going with the small lineup with Gerald Wilkins at the forward.
Eddie Lee Wilkins, and Barkley just lets him have it.
I think he sensed Eddie Lee was going to try and overreact to his presence and try to get him to fall down, perhaps, as Mahorn does quite often. When Mahorn is guarding somebody, then he fades quickly and gets away from them.
And a foul underneath against Philadelphia. Mark Jackson, his first appearance in the game. The foul is charged to Bob Thornton, his first off the bench. And a technical foul to Jimmy Lynam. Well, the Knicks had a technical on the illegal D, and now the Knicks get a technical in their favor from Jimmy Lynam being a little bit too loud and vociferous.
For New York, number 13, Mark Jackson is in the game.
Mark Jackson is in at 10:37 remaining in the second quarter. Mark played 15 minutes in the Wednesday win over the Bullets with 2 assists and 1 point, but had 11 points and 5 assists and 2 steals in the 24 minutes he played against the Cleveland Cavaliers Tuesday night at the Garden. Thornton on Ewing.
Derek Smith getting way up, showing how that leg is healthy.
Behind the back, Barkley. Anderson rejected, and so is Thornton. Third block by Patrick Ewing.
Charge to Eddie Lee Wilkins, his first and the team's first.
Brooks pushing that ball up. Boy, he's been a valuable contributor this year. Barkley with a perfect behind the back pass. Ewing responds on Anderson, and then Bob Thornton and Eddie Wilkins play with each other. You know, when they start banging, the whistle's going to blow real quick.
As it did. Kiki Vandeweghe back in. Gerald Wilkins will sit. So the lineup for the Knicks is Kiki Vandeweghe, Eddie Lee Wilkins, Patrick Ewing, Mark Jackson, and Trent Tucker. Going up against Ron Anderson, Derek Smith, Bob Thornton, Charles Barkley, and Scott Brooks. So only one Philadelphia 76er starter is on the floor.
Knicks losing on the boards now, 19-13. Only 3 Knicks have rebounds. Vandeweghe, Walker, and Ewing.
Patrick Ewing way outside. The Knicks try to clear it out. Vandeweghe looks inside for the pass. 3 seconds on the 24-second clock. That's exactly how much time the Knicks will have to put one up. Tucker for 3.
Trent was set. He was ready. He rushed some of his other shots since he's been in the game, but then he really had it.
Tucker almost 40% outside the stripe in his last 4 games, but 21% over his last 14. Barkley guarded by Eddie Lee Wilkins. Brooks on Ewing. Brooks, loose ball, picked up inside, but a foul. The foul is on Patrick Ewing. His second. Kenny Walker back in.
Patrick is mystified by that call by Bernie Fryer.
Bernie Fryer, Tommy Wood, and Earl Strom getting a workout tonight.
Did seem like a very tight call.
Derek Smith off the metal. Out comes Mark Jackson. Tucker backs away from Derek Smith. 9 minutes to go in the first half. Tucker really working overtime for the shot and hits it.
And ends up in the lap of his coach. Wow, what an amazing shot by him.
Now Derek Smith tries to do the same thing. Barkley almost had it, and Scotty Brooks fouls Trent Tucker. Johnny Dawkins back in, replacing Scott Brooks.
That's his first and the team's first.
Knicks very fortunate now. They had no motion going on the offense. Tucker then decided to do it on the dribble, an area where he does not excel, and yet he knows those angles.
Mark Jackson slowly makes his way left side, brings it back across for Vandeweghe. Yes! He's 4 for 7.
Well, he's kept up the touch. And what a help for the Knicks.
And a timeout on the Madison Square Garden floor with 8:17 to go in the half. The Knicks have taken the lead up to 9 once again. Dawkins wide open on the defensive switch by the Knicks. 42-35.
Good ball movement, finding the open man.
Are we going to see you out at the stadium at all during the summer, John?
Sure, Al. Got to go where the action is, you know.
Mark Jackson, crossover dribble. Bob Thornton with a big rebound. Thornton, who was let go by the Knicks, went to play in Spain and was picked up as a free agent by the 76ers. Starts the Sixers up the floor, and there's a foul. Kenny Walker is charged for his second. Patrick Ewing, after a brief rest, is back in. Derek Smith is on the line. His best year was in 1985 when he was in the top 5 NBA guard categories: scoring, rebounding, field goal percentage, block shots. Then the next year he had mononucleosis, played few games, and it's been a struggle back for Derek Smith ever since.
You're right, it's his 8th year, and in that year that you mentioned, Al, he was a 22-point-plus scorer a game. He was big time, but he's made a great recovery now, although he wears a knee brace. But Jim Lynam says his knee is feeling great this year, and it's showing in his output.
Kenny Walker is about as wide open as they let you get.
The Sixers are, as you point out, allowing that quite often. Vandeweghe has really been the beneficiary of open shots.
Hawkins fouled on the drive. Now we have seen 3 illegal defense, 2 against the Knicks, 1 against Philadelphia, if I'm correct in that. That's the kind of flexing defense and the kind of defensive movement that both teams are employing in this game tonight.
Firstly, Hawkins at the line. 2 shots.
Now the difference in this man from last year to this is his ability this year to be effective with the ball dribbling. Last year, as one of the college game's greatest scorers ever out of Bradley, he was bombing away as a jump shooter. This year, he now comes in after spending the summer with that basketball, becoming a man who can dribble around you and go at the basket effectively. So he's doubled his effectiveness in effect, and he has come on strong. So he and Mahorn have made this team tough.
Pressure by Philadelphia as they try to collapse that Knicks 5-point lead. Knicks at one point led by 10. Sixers came back to tie. And the Knicks have pushed it in front one more time. Just under 7 minutes to go in the first half, and a whistle underneath. Earl Strom signaling Bob Thornton on the foul.
The foul charged to Bob Thornton.
Thornton finding his way by Kiki Vandeweghe a bit.
Is that what he did? Like he groped his way by.
He has a shirt on after that. And then an argument.
Trent Tucker comes off the Kenny Walker pick, but he was covered well by Hersey Hawkins. Walker works for the jumper. And Kenny Walker has hit 2 in a row. He's got 6 points.
Well, Vandeweghe's effectiveness as a jump shooter is spreading to his teammates.
Wouldn't that be nice? Rick Mahorn back in for Philadelphia. He and Ewing match up. Kaminsky fakes Walker. Inside Mahorn. Over Ewing. And Patrick is there for the rebound. 6:20 to go. Knicks by 7. Tucker. Second 3 of the game.
He banged in 2 in Washington the other night, and the touch has returned to Trent Tucker.
2 for 2 from outside the stripe.
Charles Barkley, as Mike Kaminsky hits one, is more concerned with one of the fans now, and is in the middle of a ruckus with a fan, and now he's sitting down.
Meanwhile, Vandeweghe hits it. Kiki Vandeweghe 5 for 8, 10 points.
And the range is increasing for him.
And you know how Jimmy Lynam got Barkley away from the fans? He sent him to the scorer's table and said, get out on the floor. It's better on there.
Cause trouble out there.
Ewing on the block is 4th of the game. The follow doesn't go, and Ewing rips it down.
Boy, Mike Kaminsky's quiet tonight.
Jackson for Tucker. He's 2 for 3. Vandeweghe blocked on the reverse. And a foul.
Well, Patrick Ewing establishing himself as the defensive force that he can become tonight here in the first half. With that block, he gives Derek Smith enough distraction to miss it, and he swoops up that rebound. At the other end, Kiki Vandeweghe with an offensive rebound draws the foul.
Vandeweghe makes the first. By the way, that last block at the other end was Patrick Ewing's official 6th block. Kenny Albert and the computer disagree, and Kenny usually wins those, but we'll give it the benefit of the doubt for now. It is 53-41. Knicks enjoying their biggest lead, 12 points with 5 minutes and 5 seconds to go in the half. A little bit of everything here.
Knicks delaying the setup of the offense for the Sixers now with that pressure.
Seventh block by Ewing. Stu Jackson cannot be disappointed with the way Mark Jackson's effect on the floor has been seen, at least on the scoreboard. Gerald Wilkins on Hersey Hawkins. And Gerald is stripped.
Third time that's happened.
Hawkins on Jackson. And Johnny Dawkins drops it in. It's a 10-point Knick lead. Gerald Wilkins only 2 for 4, including a missed 3-point attempt. Ewing. No problem.
Mahorn and Kaminsky are as quiet as I've ever seen them.
The Sixers roar back, and Johnny Dawkins for Hersey Hawkins just got it underneath Patrick Ewing. Vandeweghe. Oh, yeah, he's out.
What a show. You know, he had to steady himself rather quickly after receiving that pass, and he did.
Mark Jackson's racked up 4 quick assists. Hawkins He is really having trouble. Hawkins is 1 for 7 from the floor. And a loose ball foul underneath on Philadelphia.
Last time they met, these two teams here in New York, March 1st, Sixers won that game. As you see, Ewing so active. Kenny Walker distracted by Barkley. Ewing right back, though, and drew the foul. The outcome of that game was that Trent Tucker and the team felt that they didn't match the Sixers' intensity. They didn't have that. Well, they sure have it tonight in the first half.
The Knicks lead is 12. Back at Madison Square Garden with 3:32 to go in the half. The Knicks lead by 12. Charles Barkley was involved with the fans a few minutes ago.
Yes, the game was going on, as you see, and Charles was into a verbal confrontation with some of the more active fans who are not smart. Particularly if Charles were to leave his position, it wouldn't be good for them. But I mean, Freddie Carter right there to calm him down. Any moments later got put back into the game. Now the Sixers come in here tonight with this 8-game winning streak, and they are not as hungry as the Knicks. That's clear here in the first half. But I do remember last time they were here, they came out in the second half roaring, and they roared right by the Knicks. That may happen yet.
3:20 to go. Mark Jackson remains out there to guide the Knicks offense. Ewing over Jaminski. Patrick Ewing is 10 for 11, 20 points, 10 rebounds, 7 block shots. He is 3 block shots away from the triple-double, and we're still in the first half. Knicks haven't had one of those yet this season. Kenny Walker skies up for the rebound. Jackson feeds Vandeweghe. He's like a piece of desert real estate. You buy it, you get it, you hope that it's going to go up in value and make you seem like a smart speculator. Sometimes it doesn't, but this time it seems like it might.
He's also a great shooter, Al.
Yeah, that too. Steal attempted by Wilkins. Mahorn is there to save it. Jaminski pulls it back a step. Walker up. Saved by Jackson. A good race to the sideline for Mark. Spins. Finds Vandeweghe. And Ewing is called for offensive goaltending. He dangerously hit that rim very hard with his right hand.
Jackson with the good look off Vandeweghe with a very tough move, which he almost succeeds in making, and Ewing piling his way back in. Almost did a Johnny Newman and hurt his hand on the rim.
First thing you think of. Exactly how Johnny Newman.
See the double team. The Knicks planned to do that with Barkley in the low post. Made him give it up.
Dawkins all rim. Mahorn. And it's just not falling for Philadelphia. The Knicks 61, Philadelphia 45.
The numbers won't show it, but Kenny Walker is as effective as Patrick Ewing in so many ways here in the first half. He's so active on the boards.
Jackson sends it inside for Ewing.
What a party Ewing is having. And what a party the fans are having watching him.
Now it's Patrick's party, and the fans will cheer if they want to. Well, according to an eyewitness that is a good friend of Kenny Albert, reliable as that may seem, here is what transpired at the end of the Philadelphia bench. Fans were yelling at Charles Barkley. Barkley threw a tray of ice water at a fan. Fans then obviously got excited. Barkley then, it says here, spit on the fan. The fan was ejected from Madison Square Garden. That is an eyewitness account. May be the facts, may not be. Either way, it almost got ugly down at the end of the Philly bench.
That the same quiet guy we spoke to in the pregame show?
And you said to him, Charles, I think you'll be a little bit different about 45 minutes from now.
Dude.
And you were right. That is after Barkley and Ewing almost came to blows in the first quarter.
The Sixers are getting absolutely no flow in their offense.
And Barkley's having no effect in this second quarter. In the second quarter, Barkley's got 2 points and 3 rebounds. Ewing
Little out of his range.
Makes a three-pointer. He gets crazy. Barkley draws Walker towards him. And a foul on the drive.
Very tight call. As Barkley went away from the basket, Walker played him well, stayed with him with his quickness.
That's his third personal.
Great angle here. We'll look for the foul. And we'll keep looking because it wasn't apparent.
Eddie Lee Wilkins in for Kenny Walker. The Knicks on a 19-6 run.
Kenny Walker, in his way, was spectacular here in the first half.
Hustled, dove for loose balls, pulled down key rebounds, took some of the pressure off Patrick Ewing in that regard.
Exactly.
Kept the ball alive, shot a couple of key jumpers. Walker sits 3 for 4 from the floor, 6 points. The Knicks shooting 65% from the floor, and Philadelphia 35%, leading 63-47, 40 seconds to go in the first half. Vandeweghe fakes Anderson. All net.
Al, I don't know when we have seen a shooting exhibition by a Knickerbocker from jump shooting range like this.
Kiki's comeback was so long and so agonizing, testing the patience of every fan and everyone who followed the Knicks. But sometimes things taste sweeter when you have to wait longer for them.
Well, not to mention him. Everywhere he went, barrage.
How many times do you think he was
When are
asked?
you going to be ready?
Knicks are over the limit. Barkley will go to the line.
You know what I find interesting, too, is 10 out of 12 the other night in Washington, you know, the normal person would say, can I keep that up? Can I come back and duplicate it? And there'd be another sense of pressure here tonight. Was it a passing thing? And he came out here tonight as cool as he's ever been, which is cool all the time, and right into the groove again. But what that demonstrates is that he's a thoroughbred. And if you look at his history, that clearly states it as well.
I'll tell you what I like. Vandeweghe shooting the ball as hot as he is against the Philadelphia 76ers in a quote-unquote big game means a lot more to me than seeing him do it against the Washington Bullets.
Oh, yes, of course. But you have to do it, and it might as well be against the Bullets or anybody, and he did it. And the confidence level, I'm sure, helped greatly from that performance, obviously.
20-second timeout on the floor, and as long as we're talking about number 55, how's this for the last 2 games? 18 of 23 from the field. Vandeweghe has a free throw percentage from about 20 feet.
Gerald Wilkins found him in the corner a moment ago. A little head fake. That's giving the defense something to think about. They know he's going to that shot. The great players anticipate the defense, which he did perfectly, and then do something else. It's so important to have variety in your offensive approach.
Of course, you can pull off a fake like that when you're shooting as well as he is shooting. 7 seconds to go in the half. Jackson looks for Vandeweghe. He'll take the last second shot and miss it. 1.1 second to go. Whistle underneath. Loose ball foul charge against the Knicks.
Vandeweghe in a display of unhappiness with himself just banged his hip as if to say, how could I miss that shot? Because the great shooters always are surprised, actually, when they miss. And I immediately think of Larry Bird, who over the years has had that kind of attitude. When he misses, he's surprised. He can't understand it.
Kiki is sort of the Joe DiMaggio of emotion, isn't he? I mean, you know he cares. Just never seems to show it, positively or negatively. Well, here's Charles Barkley, who's had a very quiet second quarter. He does have 17 points and 6 rebounds.
That's amazing.
And he is 8 of 9 from the free throw line. So he's had 8 of the 18 points from the free throw line. Knicks lead at 65-49. Sixers come in as one of the hottest teams in the league. 8 straight. Who would have thought the Knicks would lead this big at the half? Buzzer sounds. Well, Barkley went at Ewing. Barkley went at the fans. But the Knicks went at the Sixers. First, it's all so reflected in the stats. How about field goal shooting percentage? The Knicks number is astounding.
Yes, red hot. Ewing, Vandeweghe exploded on the Sixers in the first half.
This is almost too much to believe.
This is amazing. Jackson in 11 minutes leads the team. He and Cheeks 13 of the 23 assists, and they were the point guard in the first half. 13 assists.
And we can also look at blocked shots. 76ers yet to do it.
If Jim Lynam had the misfortune of reading the stats in his locker room, he probably went bananas on his team, and everybody was stomped on by the Knicks in the first half. There's one of the victims, Mike Jaminski. However, we know that two halves make a whole, and we know the last time the Sixers were here, as I mentioned earlier, they came out and were a different team in the second half. No way the Knicks are going to see that kind of effort from Philadelphia here in the second half. The question is, will they be able to mount what's necessary to continue?
We move into the second half at the Garden. Sixers look like they were trying to set up Hersey Hawkins. He disappoints them on the shot. And Hawkins is now 1 for 8 in this basketball game.
Now, Vandeweghe could have gotten that ball, I think, that everyone thought the Sixers knocked out. And they made a judgment which proved to be wrong because Kenny Walker knocked it out.
As Johnny Dawkins, guarded by Cheeks, slides off the Mahorn pick and recovers. Just underway, second half at the Garden. Jaminski. Talk about a lumbering move. Barkley's able to follow it.
Knicks better react quickly now and not let the Sixers get right into a momentum.
Just to set the emotional tone, which has been documented frequently throughout this game. Barkley tossed Ewing to the floor in the first half. Ewing came back and they almost came to blows. It was just a couple of slaps before they were separated. As a result of that, Charles Oakley was ejected in street clothes. After that, Charles Barkley, who was seated on the Philadelphia 76er bench, and I spoke to 3 eyewitnesses to this during the halftime, got involved with some fans who reportedly were from Philadelphia and cheering for the Sixers. He threw an entire tray of ice water their way. They were unfortunately sharing a seat, so they leaped to their feet to defend themselves. He got up, spit toward their general direction, and then was immediately sent into the game by Jimmy Lynam to get him away from there.
Now, how's everybody going to feel when it's announced that those are members of his family? And that's the way they act. And everyone's getting all excited.
66-52. And Hersey Hawkins tries to get that shooting touch back to life. Knicks lead it by 12, 66-54. Almost poked away. Mahorn is right in there, and Cheeks' face. Vandeweghe picks up right where he left off.
Splash. The way he shoots that ball, it's a splash.
Jaminski answers from deep in the corner.
So Mike's hits the rim. Big difference, Al.
If the fans weren't making so much noise, you'd be able to hear that beautiful swish. Kiki is 9 for 13, 20 points. Ewing.
It'll be interesting to see how Jim Lynam's troops react to Vandeweghe now, who they have not seen this season. This is his debut against the Philadelphia 76ers after 4 prior games. How will they guard him? What will they do differently, if anything?
Well, you have to be thinking that Jimmy Lynam is saying this is a much different Knick team. I mean, it presents all different kinds of problems. And in thinking ahead toward the playoffs, if there is going to be such a matchup, it would leave a very important seed, I think, in the Sixers' minds with a big Knick win here today.
But it will only happen if the Knicks mount an attack similar to the first half. If they let up, the Sixers are strong enough and deep enough to come roaring back.
Knicks led by as many as 18. The lead is now 11. Maurice Cheeks with Gerald Wilkins, Kiki Vandeweghe, Patrick Ewing, and Kenny Walker. Kiki, the outlet for Ewing. He drives from way outside and drops it in. Patrick doing it again. 25 points. Hersey Hawkins for 3.
3-point goal, 3 points for Hersey Hawkins.
Well, that could present a new and clear and present danger for the Knicks if Hersey Hawkins can get that very accurate shooting eye focused. Ewing, double team, finds Walker. Knicks have all kind of open players out on the perimeter. Here's Barkley hanging. And with bravado, Charles Barkley slaps the ball to the floor. The spirit is alive. We've got some headbutts and a 12-5 Sixer run.
Sixers are roaring now, and it's happening underneath the basket. Mike Jaminski able to stop Kenny Walker's attempt. Johnny Dawkins sees the wide open hanging Charles Barkley, and Charles is ready to go.
9:07 to go in the third quarter. Al Trautwig for Marv Albert with John Andres, Bruce Beck, and Walt Clyde Frazier. Walker, Wilkins wide open. Good look pass.
Thanks to a pick from Ewing that got him loose.
Knicks by 10, led by 15 at the half. That was 3 minutes and 10 seconds ago. Van de Wey trying to stay with Barkley. It's all cleared out for him. Illegal defense, third time in the game against the Knicks.
Barkley would prefer to take Van de Wey or whoever underneath the basket. He loves physical play. He knows he's strong enough to get the shot off and drag the defender with him, maybe get a three-point play. Sixers clear out one side of the court often for him to do that.
At the Richfield Coliseum, the Cleveland Cavaliers lead Boston by 3 in the fourth. Knicks obviously want to pay close attention to what happens there and follow the Celtics' fortunes quite closely. For the fourth, fifth shift in the Eastern Conference standings will determine home court advantage. Barkley, oh boy, for three.
Now realizing, of course, that Barkley is a 16% shooter from three-point range. He seems to save his best for the Knicks in that department.
Can't expect the Sixers, at least over their recent course, to play an entire game shooting 36%.
Now what's happening is the Sixers are getting something done positively for them every time over half court since the second half began, and the lead is shrinking.
Third foul charge to Maurice Cheeks. And Johnny Dawkins, 5 of 10 from the floor, 10 points. Make it 11. Knicks lead is 6. A 10-2 run by the Philadelphia 76ers, and a fairly important move up the floor, even though there's so much time remaining in this game for the Knicks. Wilkins. 74-67. Gerald Wilkins.
Knicks are forcing, the effect of their outside shooting is forcing the Sixers to guard the shooters, which has to make Ewing tougher as this game wears on. Wilkins coming to Barkley, makes him give the ball up.
Hersey Hawkins for three, this time is off. The offensive rebound by Jaminski. First half, the Knicks out offensive rebounded. Were out offensive rebounded by Philly 10-3.
Knicks had so many shots going in, it wasn't a call, actually.
That's a good point.
But now the Sixers again get it done at their end. And we have a 5-point game now.
Van de Wey loses the wide open pass. And the Sixers, who now trail by 5, can make it less.
I think Ewing's presence distracted his vision, didn't see it coming.
Dawkins intercepted by Walker. Out come the Knicks. Look how quick 4 Sixers get back on the transition defense.
Dawkins is so good at getting down low, stopping Cheeks.
Wilkins spins around the Ewing pick, dishes it for Walker. Turned away by Jaminski, and a powerful defensive play by Jaminski.
Big Mike is more active now, as are his teammates.
Sixers working around the perimeter. Hersey Hawkins on the drive. And there's Mahorn.
We were talking about Hawkins' ability to dribble and move effectively. That was a good example of it.
The Knicks lead is 3.
Mahorn banging on Ewing, which he wasn't doing in the first half.
Gerald Wilkins can't hit. And now Mahorn and Ewing go at it.
Mahorn, somebody better say something with a whistle. Now, one official is looking. I can't understand that. These guys are ready to rip each other's faces off. Mahorn laying it on Ewing now. Mahorn is now going into his Detroit act. Lots of unnecessary pushing and shoving as the ball moves up court.
We're halfway through the third, and the Sixers just have 1 point less than they had the entire second quarter. Knicks lead is 3. Van de Wey open. Ewing right over the top of Barkley to rip it down. Knicks aren't moving the way they did in the first half. Hawkins for Barkley on the run. And a foul.
This is where the Sixers are so dangerous, and the Knicks know it. Transition. They push the ball up. And number 34 is as tough as it gets in the NBA to deal with when he gets the ball on the run.
That is the fourth foul charged to Maurice Cheeks, who leaves with 8 assists, one short of his Knick high. Mark Jackson back into the game.
It shows you how the whole picture of the game changes when your shooting percentage decreases. And that's what the Knicks are facing now. Now the question is, can they get up on the boards? That's amazing what we just saw.
An air ball.
Charles Barkley, a 75% shooter from...
And now he's short again. Was that ever strange? Barkley with 26 points, 9 of 12 from the free throw.
Oh, Ewing with the high Mahorn type pick, looking to pick him off.
You would think we would be destined for some other sort of collision.
Absolutely sensational offensive rebound by Kenny Walker. Mahorn was picking up Mark Jackson, kept him away from the boards.
Knicks get 2 back and lead by 5. Jaminski open. Not accurate.
Got to have the hand up in his face quicker than Vandeweghe did.
5 minutes to go. Wilkins for Jackson. For Vandeweghe. He's got the touch again. Kiki Vandeweghe has 22. His Knick high is 24 twice last season. That is the best Vandeweghe update of scoring performance this season. Jackson has 8 assists. Jaminski, he is good from the outside tonight too.
Good ball movement by the Sixers, finding him as well.
Patrick Ewing's gone cool 4 of his last 9 after hitting his first 8. Mike Jaminski has gotten hot 5 straight. Vandeweghe over Barkley. Could have had it if he followed the rebound.
He's so used to making them, though.
Hawkins guarded by Walker. Fakes right, goes inside. Here's Jaminski open again. First miss in 6 tries.
It's at 4 rebounders to 1 for the Sixers.
Wilkins followed by Walker. Kenny Walker is making his presence felt in a big way inside, and it's coming at a very important point for the Knicks.
Stu Jackson has to think about Vandeweghe now in his playing time. He's played 27 of potential 32 minutes.
Mark Jackson blocks Barkley.
Well, that's going to win Mark Jackson a lot of fans. He gives Barkley an affectionate pat on the back, too. They're friends. Boy, was Barkley shocked.
Jaminski off the mark for the 2nd time in a row. And the fans at the Garden pick it up again. Walker. Kenny Walker achieving hero status at the moment for the Knicks.
Mark Jackson has his Madison Square Garden personality here tonight. Not like in Washington the other night, and he is roaring. And what a lift he gave the team with that block of Charles Barkley.
4th block of the season for Mark Jackson, coming at an important time as far as the crowd was concerned. And the Knicks, their lead is 7 as Johnny Dawkins connects. Now it is 5 with 3 minutes to go in the 3rd. Ewing cross court. Vandeweghe attempts to save. Walker is there.
Oh, wow. He wanted Mahorn. Did he want that? You have to understand that Kenny Walker is a classy guy. What a save by Vandeweghe. And Kenny Walker sees the opposition in front of him. Another look at that great save. Walker knows who's coming at him, and he just wants to send it down. Kenny Walker doesn't have the weight of the big, strong Mahorn.
And a big ovation for Vandeweghe as he sits with 22 points, his best effort this season, coming off his previous best effort in Washington. And Walker, whose every muscle was directed toward that dunk, which he missed. Larry Bird, a triple-double, and leading Boston to a 5-point victory over Cleveland in Cleveland. Walker misses both. Bird in that game was only 4 of 17 from the field. 2 free throws must have pushed him over the top. Keeping an eye on Patrick Ewing, who is 3 blocks away from a triple-double.
Nice move by Mahorn inside. A lot of deception.
Knicks lead is 3 again. Ewing and Mahorn continue to bump. Sometimes it's slight, sometimes it's not.
Well, Mahorn continues to push, as we saw.
Tucker in for the Knicks. Gerald Wilkins. Rebound by Walker again. About this time, you might want to ask Kenny what he thinks the winning lotto numbers are going to be. Everything's falling for him. Mark Jackson.
Big hoop.
First 2 points for Mark Jackson. Coming off a game in which he had 1 point. But he is doing it from a passing perspective in this game. That's been clear.
Knicks have lifted it up defensively now to thwart the Sixers, who started this third quarter fast.
Dawkins short. 1:35 to go in the third. Knicks lead is 5. They started the quarter up by 15. And a foul underneath. Mahorn is called on the foul. That's his third. He's the only Sixer in foul trouble. The Knicks have 3 on Walker and 4 on Mo Cheeks. Cheeks on the bench with 8 assists. Mark Jackson has 9. Patrick Ewing now from the free throw line is 3 for 5. Scott Brooks off the bench. Johnny Dawkins sits.
Interesting how the Sixers have not gone to the three-point shot to bail them out. 2 games ago, they had 6 players all participate and make at least 1 3-point shot.
So far, they've taken 6 and made 2. Barkley on the powerful follow.
Starts with the penetrating move.
Charles Barkley now has 28 points, 7 rebounds. That after a second quarter in which he was almost invisible for the Sixer team. Wilkins on the drive.
Oh! Think that felt good?
Wilkins with 11.
Al, that's the dream of every guy sitting in the stands.
Oh,
to be able to do that in a game. They'd be happy doing that in their own backyard.
I mean, that would look good with no one out on the floor.
Said it. Rick Mahorn is a different player here in the second half.
37 seconds in the third. Knicks lead is 5. 15 on the 24. Ewing for Tucker. Guarded tightly by Hersey Hawkins. Hawkins is right there with him. Good defense by Hawkins. Tucker takes it anyway. Gets the follow.
Kenny Walker made it happen.
You're absolutely right. Walker got the tip outside. And he is the Knick MVP of this third quarter. That's time remaining in the quarter. Brooks fouled by Jackson.
Key thing for the Knicks is that they haven't lost anything with Vandeweghe resting on the bench. The offense has continued to function.
Mark Jackson has come off the bench. Maurice Cheeks in foul trouble, and it's got to be great for Stu Jackson to know that both players can turn in a performance as they have.
Scott Brooks over Ewing. It looked like Ewing was going to get that.
Mark Jackson just gives it the old heave-ho as time runs out in the third. Well, the plot thickens on a very emotional, intriguing, and physical night. The Knicks lost 10 points that quarter. Budweiser dunk of the game is brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood Age, for that distinctively clean, crisp taste that makes Budweiser the king of beers. For all that you do, Gerald Wilkins, this Bud's for you.
Yes, and Gerald showed the Sixers a gorgeous move moments ago. Jackson posting up, gives it up. Tucker back to Wilkins, drives baseline. Barkley in front of him, so he goes reverse on the slam.
A game that has been played, I hate to say it because it's Almost sounds so predictable, but at playoff intensity, low turnovers too, reflecting that tightness. Knicks at 7 turnovers on the game, and Philadelphia with 6. Sixers made 15 field goals in that third quarter. They made only 6 in the second.
Last time they met in Philadelphia, Patrick Ewing shows his memories of Carl Braun. I don't think I've ever seen him take a shot like that.
A fall away from 15 in traffic. Ron Anderson off the bench for Philadelphia, the quick release. And it'll be Nick Ball. Derek Smith is also in. So is Bob Thornton. Eddie Lee Wilkins checks in for the Knicks, replacing Kenny Walker.
Fans recognize Walker's contributions with a nice round of applause.
Mark Jackson playing with 10 assists and is being given a run defensively by Scott Brooks. Barkley, the only Philadelphia starter, out on the floor. Jackson.
Jackson doing what he does best offensively, and that is go to the hoop. And again, he had Barkley in front of him and used the backboard beautifully.
Derek Smith pops out. Patrick Ewing slaps it away, and Jackson is there. Barkley was slapped from behind by Ewing. And there's Eddie Lee Wilkins, who hits the floor hard.
Mark Jackson playing so well. Ewing with the slap away. Jackson quickly pursues that ball, runs ahead of Barkley, delivers the ball to Eddie Lee, and Bob Thornton, in his familiar way, drives Eddie Lee Wilkins to the floor hard.
10:47 to go in the fourth. And Eddie Lee Wilkins steps to the line with 2 points. Knicks are not knocking anybody over with their free throw percentage tonight. 8 of 13, make it 8 of 14.
Eddie Lee, a 60% shooter from the line this year.
Knicks by 9. Anderson guarded by Ewing.
Sixers really have no big man now with Kaminsky out to go to.
Barkley an air ball, and the fans love chanting that.
Boy, you can see Ewing's reaction. And Earl Strom lets him express himself. A lot of officials might have called a technical on Ewing's reaction. Barkley will get this ball, though. He'll keep coming. Anderson keeps it alive with good effort. And Ewing could not believe the call.
Barkley, who had an air ball on a free throw just a short while ago, is hearing it from the roof.
He'll have a message for the fans, too, undoubtedly.
Oh, that ought to be a nice message, too, John, don't you think? And that was almost an air ball. Well, the Sixers have been taking an awful lot of shots lately. Maybe their arms are getting tired. 94-86, Knicks on top, 10-12 to go. Ewing spins on Thornton.
Thornton mistimed his pressure on Ewing, who timed his reaction perfectly.
Jackson picks Brooks up way out near half court. Derek Smith for Barkley.
Knicks continuing to double Barkley down low, making him give the ball up. And Scott Brooks, who has been so reliable this year for this team, hits that jump shot.
I'll talk about strange mismatches on both ends of the floor. Barkley's got Ewing on him at the other end. At this end, Barkley's got to worry about Eddie Lee Wilkins. Outside, that's not much of a worry. Now the switch. Ewing pulled down by Barkley. He whirls away from Wilkins. Pushes the Sixers up the floor. Intercepted by Gerald Wilkins. Back come the Knicks. Tucker didn't want it. Mark Jackson waits for Patrick Ewing to set up low. He's got Barkley guarding him. And Barkley blocks the Eddie Lee Wilkins shot. Barkley blows by Jackson and is fouled by Tucker.
Good play by Tucker, otherwise it's a short 2.
Big foul charged to Trent Tucker.
Eddie Lee rejected. Thornton was there, but Barkley makes a big play. Jackson makes a stab at Barkley. And then Tucker finally does something about that momentum.
8:55 to go. Smith guarded by Vandeweghe, back on for the Knicks, and Smith goes right by Kiki on the way to the hoop, and a foul inside. Loose ball foul against the Knicks.
And the Knicks led up. They had 4 defenders, which meant nothing because no one was in front of Charles Barkley. Knicks will have 4 rebounders now in this play in position. And the most aggressive player of the people out there gets the ball.
Derek Smith spinning, globe-trotting on Tucker. Barkley guarded by Walker. Offensive foul.
Bob Thornton very aggressive with his picks, with his play in general. Always does a lot of pushing now.
Set it up. Kenny Walker, Kiki Vandeweghe, Patrick Ewing, Mark Jackson, and Trent Tucker. Knicks playing without Johnny Newman and Charles Oakley, of course. Both with broken bones in the hand. Tucker on the drive. Get out of here, says Derek Smith.
Great play. Did it from behind. Vandeweghe gives it up unselfishly. Tucker looks like he has his man beat, but Derek Smith makes a big defensive play.
Ewing tries to draw Jaminski toward him. Comes loose. Brooks with Vandeweghe back. And Kiki Vandeweghe hits Brooks very hard.
Brooks made the big defensive play on Ewing. He attacked him as Ewing was rolling to the basket. We'll get another look at it now. Big commitment by Brooks, and it worked. Anderson picked it up. Vandeweghe denies Brooks clearly.
2 shots.
Be some tired players when this one's over.
Oh. Sixers have been off, however, since last Tuesday, their last game. Tomorrow, they will be in Atlanta. Play the Hawks.
And after a game like this, that's the last thing you'll want is to run into an NBA team that's dying to stay in the playoff picture. 8:12 to go. Knicks lead is 6. 2 of the violent Rangers-Islanders series here at the Garden. Game night at 8 o'clock tomorrow night.
Vandeweghe in a rush situation gives the ball up. And Barkley loves it at the other end, beating everyone down and overpowering the Knicks defenders.
Mark Jackson called on the foul.
Vandeweghe moved out of bounds. Barkley went right into that passing lane, runs hard, gets a nice bounce pass back. Look at his strength. Going at the speed he is to move that body and get that ball into the hoop.
The speed of Scott Brooks, John. I mean, he gets up the floor with the best of them. And the Sixers have reeled off 7 straight and trail by only 3. Last time they got this close, the Knicks were able to punch it out in front, largely due to the effort of Kenny Walker. Jackson almost lost it. Ewing double team. 4 on the shot clock. Tucker. Walker again inside and fouled on the follow.
Boy, you don't box out Kenny Walker, you're risking a price. And he's making the Sixers pay. He just soars. No one in front of him. And Derek Smith cuts him down.
4 offensive rebounds now for Kenny Walker in the second half. That's more than the entire Knick team had in the first half.
Stu Jackson with a very tough decision upcoming now. Does he stay with Mark Jackson, who's done a fine job? Or does he go back to the starting guard, Maurice Cheeks? Or does he play them both together?
Walker makes the first of 4 free throw attempts. About the only thing he's not doing tonight. At 10 rebounds, he's 1 short of his season high. Ron Anderson picked up by Tucker. Brooks slides away from Jackson. The double clutch falls. Knicks lead is 2.
Brooks burned the Knicks for 12 points in Philadelphia in their last meeting.
The Sixers have never led. Into Ewing over Jaminski. And the Knicks might want to start focusing on Mr. Ewing again.
Surprisingly, Jaminski doesn't put his hands up when Ewing turns for that jump shot.
Maurice Cheeks with 4 personal fouls, getting set to check back in for the Knicks. Mark Jackson has played superb. His cheeks went out with those 4 fouls. Brooks gets around Jackson and lets fire. And the Sixers stay within 2.
Well, Mark Jackson having a little problem now with Brooks. And Steve Jackson has taken note. We'll go with the quick feet of Cheeks next, it appears.
Vandeweghe for 3. And Barkley pulls it down. Sixers trail by 2.
Vandeweghe hasn't shot the ball in a while.
Barkley drives to the hoop over Ewing. Tipped up. Barkley still there. Knicks come away with it.
Thanks to Kenny Walker once again, who's in there competing, knocking that ball away.
Mark Jackson down near the end of press row was fouled by Brooks.
His second and the team's third.
13th foul, so Jackson won't be shooting, but heading towards the bench. And how about this? A well-deserved ovation, some standing for Mark Jackson, who in his role now of coming off the bench has played well.
He certainly has.
.540 to go. Ewing finds the range and says something to the Sixer bench as he ran by, or at least I thought so.
Yes, he looked that way.
Mahorn was a member of the bench at that time, now gets rid of the jacket and is getting ready to check in. Knicks by 4. Barkley drives. And the foul. Ewing with 3. It could be on him.
Of course, if you're going to use a foul up, you want to deny the guy the basket. Barkley with a very deceptive move around Kenny Walker. They get Ewing on a foul. It appears after the foul might have been committed. It looked like a left-handed push, but that was no foul.
The foul on Walker, and Barkley is short again. Barkley from the free throw line is 11 of 16, and in the second half has really struggled from there, with an air ball and 3 that have been short, way short. Patrick Ewing is now 1 block away from the Knicks' first triple-double of the season. Ewing hits, it's 103.99 as the Knicks just barely stay out of the reach of the Sixers. Barkley. And now in crunch time, Barkley, in spite of the fact that he's had great numbers, he has not dominated, but suddenly he is taking over.
That's what superstars do, and that's exactly what, as you point out, Al, is happening.
Vandeweghe.
Mahorn is getting more than physical on Ewing.
Ewing again from long range. Cheeks with the offensive rebound. First of the game.
See if Cheeks finds Ewing.
Tucker, quick release, off target.
It wasn't set. He was going in the opposite direction, and he had to go to shoot.
Brooks for Barkley. Luckily, Derek Smith was there. Double team, looks for help. Back for Barkley, 12 on the 24. They clear it out for he and Walker. Cheeks thinks about coming over. Brooks for 3, way short.
Because of Cheeks, who did the job. He forced with the double team Barkley to give it up, and then he got back to bother Brooks.
Chance of air ball again. 3:33 to go. Well, this has been a fun one to watch since the opening.
Knicks trying to get Vandeweghe free off a pick.
Tucker got it. 3. Knicks by 5. Timeout.
Trent Tucker's looking in the eye of the Tiger here. Number 34 has no option, and Barkley faded on him, figuring Trent had missed a couple. No more confidence, but he was wrong. You know, last game in Washington, it appeared the Knicks, I think, statistically scored more points from the outside than they had in any game this year. They seem to be back on target again tonight. They are not living off Ewing alone.
5 Knicks in double figures tonight. One of them, Trent Tucker, off the bench in double figures. Dawkins off the mark. Ewing pulls another one down. 18 rebounds, 37 points, 9 block shots for Patrick Ewing.
Big deal.
So what? Can he hit a home run? Scramble for it. And Kiki Vandeweghe right in the middle of things.
Patrick Ewing, as Kenny Albert points out, has played all but 2 minutes of this game.
In front of sellout number 26 on the season. Charles Barkley, meanwhile, has 36 points, 2 short of his season high, 13 rebounds, and 11 of 16 from the free throw line. 106-101, 2:42 to go.
Very important moments now. Every time the Sixers come over half court, it's crucial.
Mahorn guarded by Ewing. He gets down low. Dawkins. Cheeks had it for a moment, just poked away at the last second. Jaminski, quickly Ewing is there. Patrick slaps it away, hands in the air, as John loves to see.
Coaches love to see it. None of the Knicks have them up now, though.
Dawkins throws it inside. Mahorn can't get the shot away. If it was a Ewing block, he's got the triple-double. If not, we'll have to wait. Traveling is called on Barkley. Two minutes, 2 seconds to go. Traveling call to Charles Barkley.
The Knicks have not beaten the Sixers with a healthy Sixers team. The one victory did not include Barkley.
One of the things that has come to life in the Knicks over the past few games is team defense. And the offense.
You just knew that was going to fall.
Knicks by 7. Timeout, Philadelphia.
Well, Gerald Wilkins unselfishly giving that ball up to Kiki Vandeweghe, who continues to surprise the Philadelphia 76ers. Kiki Vandeweghe, according to his expert analyst tonight, Bruce Beck, notes that he has 10 jump shots between 15 and 22 feet tonight. And Charles Barkley, hoping to draw the foul, commits a traveling violation, and Stu Jackson is right along there without a whistle to help make that happen and go the Knicks' way.
Stu looking Barkley-esque. 1:40 to go, Knicks by 7. Patrick Ewing was not credited with a block on that last exchange. He's still 1 block short of the triple-double. Barkley for 3.
Do something. Does he love pressure?
108, 104, 125 to go.
16% from the field at three-point shots this season.
Best game point-wise for Charles Barkley. Gerald Wilkins, he's been quiet in this fourth quarter after that great dunk, which was the dunk of the game. Wilkins hasn't scored.
The most Charles Barkley has scored against the Knicks this year was 32 here in New York. Clearly, Barkley banging home that three-point shot for his second one of the evening and his 16th of the season.
Beating the 38 points as the previous best by Barkley this year. His career high is 47. 1:15 to go. Gerald Wilkins has given the Knicks a 6-point lead.
Looking back at Ewing's time on the floor, in fact, we incorrectly reported that he has only missed a minute tonight.
If every athlete that made that much money worked as hard as he did, we'd never have a bad game. Hawkins guarded by Wilkins. Tight D by the Knicks. Picked off by Ewing. 50 seconds to go. Knicks by 6. Vandeweghe out for Wilkins. 37.
Everybody's standing here at the Garden.
Cheeks. Knicks by 8. Timeout again.
As they did the other night in Washington, in the closing moments, the defense got more intense. It's happening here again tonight. Gerald Wilkins, all over his man, forces that errant pass. And Maurice Cheeks flings one and makes it look like he knew what was happening right from the start. A beautiful shot by him, opening up an 8-point lead now for the Knicks with a half a minute left.
And how about this, John? The Sixers over the last 3 games have averaged more than 130 points a game. And here they are sitting at 104. Great defensive effort by the Knicks. And what about Rick Mahorn? Bad back, bad game. Who knows whether he's ailing? I don't think so. Spoke to him before the game, never mentioned anything. Hasn't had a point in the fourth quarter, has but 3 rebounds and 10 overall. Barkley. 25 seconds to go, and Walker is there.
Walker just came out before the play began, sticked his hand out, and shook hands with Kenny Walker before the play began.
15 to go.
What a team performance. This man, of course, as usual, is the star. The numbers are so great. His presence is so important. But he couldn't have done it alone, that's for sure.
Quite a move by Stu Jackson, changing the starting lineup. Did it spur Mark Jackson to life? As perhaps he found some inspiration in this role coming off the bench to prove that the move never should have been made? But the Knicks have played one of their finest games in a long, long time without one of their best players in Charles Oakley and without a man who started just 8-9 days ago in Johnny Newman.
Well, there's so much variety here tonight in the offense because of Vanderway. It's a whole new dimension.
With just a handful of games left, Mahorn fires for three. It's all metal. The Knicks will keep pace with the Boston Celtics, who also won tonight in Cleveland. It was a Knickerbocker show. The Sixers came close a few times in that second half, but they never led. Charles Barkley got mixed up with Patrick Ewing in the first quarter, got mixed up with some fans in an almost ugly incident in the second.